What is the evolutionary upside of that, of having a likability gap?
I think it's anxiety. I think that it benefits us to care a lot about how we perform socially, right? Because again, the reason that we get benefits so much from interaction is because we are wired for it. Our brains reward us for being around others because at one point being around others was the only way to survive. And so we care whether we are liked, we want to be liked, and everybody has some level of social anxiety. I mean, I think we should be motivated to connect, right? We are better off together in so many ways. A couple 100,000 years ago, it meant we were more likely to survive. Now it means our brains are healthier, and there's a ton of research showing that more isolated people are less healthy in many ways. We can go there too. But I think, we have systems in our brain that when we're around others, we experience social reward. Our brains release neurotransmitters like dopamine and oxytocin and serotonin that make us feel good and say, let's do this again. And so people leave interactions in a better mood. On the other hand, when people are isolated, they feel much worse. Their rates of anxiety go up, depression go up, suicide go up, all sorts of negative effects. And the body perceives isolation as a form of stress. It activates the HPA axis, it drives cortisol levels up, we feel worse, we have health effects. And I think that's our brain's alarm system saying, you are alone, go find community because you're more likely to survive in community, again, based on long history of roots. And so I think this liking gap is maybe the brain's way of saying you can never get too comfortable, right? If you are cast out from your tribe, you could die. And so for you to make sure that you're pleasing the people around you and that you're comfortably situated and safely situated in your community, you should always maybe underestimate how safe you really are so that you can continue to work harder. But I think that can also be to our detriment. One of the chapters in the book, I lay out all these shortcomings of our social brains, and we tend to do all sorts of things. We tend to think in certain ways that's unhealthy for connection.
Tell me.
So we, like, for instance, we underestimate the value of an interaction. We always think that scientifically, on average, people don't expect that interacting with someone else will make them feel as good as it actually does. For some reason, we underestimate it.